Hey, everybody. If you've decided to go on a 21-day journey of prayer and fasting, here's what you've probably already thought about. What food am I going to give up for 3 weeks? Or which meals am I going to abstain from over this 3 week period of time in order that I can intentionally spend some time focusing on deepening my relationship with God? It sounds simple, but it's not easy. It takes discipline. It takes self-control and a lot of focus in our life to really get through these 21 days. But here's the secret that I want to let you in on. God has embedded all kinds of benefits for you and for me inside of the discipline of fasting. And I want to take about 2 minutes and tell you about 5 big benefits to fasting. First of all, fasting reveals what really controls us. Here's what I've learned in my own life. When I get hungry, when I get tired, when I get angry, when I've had a bad day, or when I get bored, I usually turn to the refrigerator or the pantry rather than going to God first. Fasting is an awesome opportunity for God to be able to reveal to us the times that you and I tend to turn to food when we really should turn to Him. A second benefit to fasting is that it reminds us what sustains us. When we fast, what we're saying to God is that I'm accountable to you. And I'm going to show you and myself that it's really you, God, that sustains me and not my habits of eating that gets me through from day to day and hour to hour. So if it's your desire to give up all food for a whole week, call on God and He'll sustain you. If it's your desire to give up meats and sweets for a month, then I believe God's going to extend a grace to you and help you really thrive in your time of prayer and fasting. Because the reality is when we fast, we're feasting on God, not food. And a third benefit to fasting is the increased effectiveness of your prayer life. You'll find that in the Bible that prayer and fasting are always closely linked together. Whether it's in the Old Testament, like Daniel when he fasted for God to sustain him and protect him during a time of intense persecution, or in the New Testament when Cornelius fasted in Acts chapter 10 and prayed for his family, and God sent him an apostle that led his whole family to Christ. Fasting and prayer are always linked closely together as we exchange our diet of food for a diet of prayer. Another benefit to fasting is receiving guidance from God to make decisions. I don't know about you, but my mind gets really cluttered really quickly when I'm not fasting. But when I begin to fast, my spiritual perception is really heightened. It seems like I hear God so much more clearly when it's going through a filter of my mind that's not toxified and cluttered and filled up with all kinds of other things and distractions. So when we fast, God clears away confusion, He clears away fear, and we start to really hear Him clearly with the wisdom that we need to make decisions that we're facing. A fifth and final benefit of fasting I want to leave with you today is that it will help you to break bondages and addictions in your life. We read in Matthew chapter 17 that Jesus said there's just certain battles that you and I can't win unless we're willing to go through a season of prayer and fasting. So I don't know what you're dealing with today, but friend, if you want to give up nicotine, God will deliver you from it. If you want to be delivered from pornography or unhealthy thought patterns or a spirit of bitterness or unforgiveness, maybe you're consumed by fear in your life, can I invite you, go on this 21-day journey. Pray about it for these 3 weeks. Give up your food, give up some meals, and really get serious about accessing the power of God through Jesus Christ that you will find during fasting. And I believe with all my heart, God's going to set you free and you're going to find victory.